Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Loving Little Learners. Today I wanted to share with you guys the free online reading platform, Epic Books. I'm sure that many of you guys are familiar with Epic because of how popular it is, but I use this platform during in-person and remote learning as a way to differentiate from my students, create independent reading centers and groups, and even track comprehension using their quizzes feature. Overall, Epic is great to just unlock and develop a love for reading for my students. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what Epic has to offer. Okay, so once you log into your Epic account, you'll be brought to your home page. Here you can see a couple of different things. On your left, you can see your class code, which is what you share with your students in order to get them logged into your classroom. And you can also see your class settings. So whether or not you're letting the students watch learning videos, what grade, what type of reading level system you've set. And then on the right side, you can see the daily student activity, which is really nice because on days you do assign Epic, you want to make sure that your students are actually logging in and you can see how many books they've read and how many minutes they have spent on the platform. A couple of different things here in the middle that you can see are just messages from Epic. One of the big things right now is allowing your students to access Epic at home after school time. So I know a lot of students, wait to do their homework and assignments when their parents are home, and they might have to wait until after school hours. This is something that's different because I typically use Epic in class during just a small group rotation or a independent center. So Epic right now is allowing all of your students that are on your class roster to access Epic for free for 2 hours after 4 o'clock on your local time, and as well as weekends. So this is really good so that they have that extra time to complete assignments or homework or quizzes or just the reading time frame that you have set for the day. So Epic is free for all educators and classrooms, but if your students do want to access Epic after school hours, after 4 p.m., then they also have that option. And then right now, I know that Epic is doing a promotion for 50% off if parents do want to just pay for the unlimited access to Epic, which is totally worth it. So when you're on your homepage, those are some things that you can see right away. Also on the top, you can see a couple of different tabs that you can click on. Your homepage tab, Explore, a search bar, My Library, My Students, and then just your own personal account. So if you go here to Explore, if you hover over, you'll see a couple of things drop down. You can explore all of the books that Epic has and sort by recommended, the Lexile score, if this is what you have set as your reading level system. You can look for books that will read to your students, videos, and audiobooks. You can also search by subject and topic if you're looking for something specific. And what's also super cool is that Epic also offers books in different languages. One of my colleagues uses Epic for her dual language classroom, and she assigns books in Spanish, which is really cool because a lot of the books that we agree are on as a grade level also do come in Spanish for her classroom. So that is a really great feature that they have. You can also use a search bar here and just search for what you want. So I can type in the word weather and see all of the different books that pop up that have to do with weather. I can further look through and sort what I would like based on reading level, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, the format, whether it has a quiz offered at the end. I can see what books they have available, what videos they have available here, which is really, really cool to just extend some learning. I can look for specific books that will read to the students, and this is super helpful because I do teach kindergarten, and this is a great feature for students who don't yet know how to read. So they can still, read the books, get the content, but have somebody read to them as they follow along. And As our students progress throughout the year and they begin to learn how to read on their own, then you can differentiate and assign decodable readers and things like that that are appropriate for their level. But this is definitely a great way to start the year with these read to me stories. And there's tons, as you can see, just for weather, there's more than 80 books available. So I would definitely go and look at that tab, especially if you teach pre-K, kinder, or even first grade. They have audiobooks and then also collections that other teachers may have made. So this may generate some things and they may not, depending on what it is you're searching for. But weather is a pretty popular topic. So you can see that they have over 100 collections of books that are available for you to assign to your students that have to do with weather. You can see how many books are available within each collection. This one has 21. This one has more than 45. And you can kind of just go through and see if any of these collections that are already made fit what you would like. And then you can just assign it straight here to your students or specific student groups that you have. Another option for you to look on the top tab is this one here that says My Library. In My Library, you have a couple of different things that you can choose from. You can look at the books that you have favorited, your collections and assignments, any topics that you have made for your class, and recent searches and just things that you have hidden and want to maybe edit. So let's go ahead and look at collections and assignments. When I click on here, you can see what collections and assignments I have for my own class. Our next unit that we will be learning is weather and seasons. So I went ahead and created a collection based on weather and season books that I can just assign to my students once the time comes, which will be in about 2 weeks. So once I do assign it, I can view the progress that my students have made. And as you can see here, there's a progress bar for each student that has been assigned this collection. It's at 0% at the moment because I haven't assigned it. But once I do, you can see how many books the students have read within this collection and how they're doing progressing through. You can also see any topics that you've created here, and you can add or explore different topics that are relevant to what you're teaching. So in the beginning of the year, we talked about healthy foods and habits. We will be talking about our 5 senses and, like I said, weather coming up. And so you can explore and add different topics here depending on what it is that you are focusing on. In kindergarten, we do fairy tales. So that can be a topic that I can add. And pretty soon we're going to actually learn about plants and their life cycle. So I can add this topic as well. Once I click on a topic, I can see all of the different books that are available. And let's say I want to create a new collection. So once I'm in this topic, a little area on the right-hand side pops up for me to create a new collection. Also, you can do that by clicking on this little heart with the plus sign on the bottom of any book that's available. So what I want to do is go to New Collection and give it a name. So I'm going to name this Plants. And then you can also add a description and choose whether or not you want to share it with all of the EPIC community. So once I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and press Create. And now every book that I want to add to this collection, I'm just going to press that heart with the plus sign. And you can see it pop up here on my collection. So I can say, let's learn about all of these different selections and just go through and add all of the books that I would like my students to read here. And you can go through, and if you accidentally added one that you don't want, you can click on this trash can and take it away and just kind of edit and refine based on what you want your students to actually learn. Once you're ready, you can go and assign it to your students or assign it to a specific group of students that you want by clicking on this blue bar here. And then I can just go ahead and choose whether or not I want my whole class roster to pop up or just a specific group. And I'm going to pick group 4 and assign to those students. Okay, so that is how I can go ahead and make a collection and assign a collection. And now this new collection should be housed here in my collections area. So that is this area here that says My Library, and you can explore all those different tabs that are available. The next one is My Students. So this is going to go ahead and be specific to your students. I'm going to block out the names of my students just for privacy, but I'll show you what you can see from here. You can see your class code on the top right, and then you can see how many students are assigned to your class, how many books they have finished this year, and how many hours they've read. So this year so far, my students have read 501 books and have read for 49 hours. You can see your whole roster. So what grade those students are in, their name, whether or not you have a parent connected, and if you would like to connect a parent, you can send them an invite straight from your roster. You can also click on this tab that says Daily Reading here, and it's going to show you how many minutes this student has read throughout the week. So we are on break throughout these weeks, but you can go back and forth between the different weeks to see how often your students are logging in. So My Epic is an optional assignment for my students. So not everybody does log in every day, but you can see who is using it, who is not. You can see that this person has read for 23 minutes and they read 9 books this day on Tuesday. You can also go to student logs and see how many books each of these students have read. This student has read 54 books and has read for 5 hours. If you do assign an assignment, you can also see the progress here. So with that plants collection that I just created, you can see the progress bar here, and then you can also archive it if you do not want this to be assigned to your students any longer. So you can just look through everything that you have assigned to your class right here in one area. So you also have an option for quizzes. When you go on any book, you can see whether or not it offers a quiz. I have not personally assigned any quizzes this year to my students. I typically do that towards the end of the year. But if you would like to assign a book that has a quiz attached, this is how you would go about doing it. So you can go to Explore and find a book that you would like. Let's go and find a book about pumpkins. We just got done learning about pumpkins because fall is over. And if you click on any book, up here on the top left corner, you'll see 3 question marks. This is the area for a quiz. So you can go ahead and click, and you can see if they have a quiz already for this book by going to Take Quiz. And there is a quiz ready. So you can take this quiz and see if it's something that is appropriate for your students and their grade level, and test it out. Or let's say it's not. You can go ahead and click on that same button with the 3 question marks, and you can create a quiz. So you can give it a title and add questions. So let's go ahead and add a question. Oh, I can't think of a question. Let's say, what color is a pumpkin? Question mark. All right, now it's going to have us go ahead and add in our answer choices, starting with the correct answer, and then give your incorrect answer options. One thing to note is that the quizzes do not have an audio option, so you would only want to, assign this to students who can read, or also offer, parents to go ahead and read the question and the answer choices to your students. Just make sure that it is the student who is answering. So students can, once you create your quiz, students can go ahead and be assigned a quiz at the end of reading a book. So once you get to the very end, there will be an option for them to take the quiz there on the page. So if you go to the last page of the book, it says finish book and start the quiz. So you would go and instruct your students to go and press this blue button to start their quiz, and then they can go and start and ask their questions. So that is how you use the quizzes feature. I really like that because you can customize it for whatever you're focusing on. So let's say I'm working on story elements and I want to go and ask questions about the character of the story, or the setting of the story, or the sequencing of the story. I can specifically create quizzes based on what it is that we're focusing on in class. Or you can just utilize the awesome quizzes that are already there and ready to go. So those are all of the features of Epic that I really like to use. I also want to point out that if you go to My Students, you can create groupings to assign your materials and your books based on level. So in my class, our students are broken up into 4 levels based on their reading ability, and therefore I can go ahead and assign specific books that are relevant to the student's current level, and I can differentiate that way. So I really like that option where I can just easily go to my class roster and create a group by pressing on this button here that says create group. So that is something that I also like to utilize in class. I used it a lot last year, especially when my students were able to use this as an independent reading area in the classroom. They can just go and the groupings are already set and they have books that are specific to their level. Once your class does finish a certain amount of reading, I believe it comes out 50, 100, 150, so 50 book increments, you get these little badges, and it's called a reading caterpillar. So your students can track their progress and see how much as a class they have read and achieved, and you can make it a big deal. And when your class does reach its next little caterpillar segment of 50 books, you guys can have some type of reward or incentive or class cheer, something like that, to really just praise them for reading, because it is such an important aspect of our days and aspect of our students' learning. So this is Epic. This is how I use it. I really, really love this platform and think that it just has so many amazing things to share. You can really search for just about anything and find tons of items that you would love. And I also love the video aspect of it, so that you guys can just kind of have a break from the reading the books, but still have educational access to educational material that is relevant to whatever content you are using. I do want to mention that one thing that I really use in person, and you can do this in remote learning, is to use this for research. So at the end of the year, we do animal research projects in class, and it's a lot of informational text that our students are going through that is typically hard for them to read and decipher on their own. So what I do is go and search the specific animals that my students are doing the reports on, and create little mini collections for them and assign it to each individual student, so that anytime they are on Epic, they're able to do some research for their specific animal. And then they have their little papers that they're filling out with habitat and diet and things like that. And as they're reading, they can go through and fill out the research questions and information sheets and things like that, so that Epic is just a really good tool to help them navigate through all of those different elements that come with that research project. And again, this is kindergarteners that come up with tons of great information based on these books and videos that are assigned to them on Epic, and they can do it completely independently with those Read to Me stories and those video books and the audio books that are available here, without you having to, spend as much time at home doing these things as homework. And the students are really learning how to collect information on their own that's relevant to their research project. So this is also a great way to use this for research projects and really just customize collections for your students to be a little more independent and not have parents have to help support the students through these projects as much as they typically have in the past. So again, I hope you love Epic. It is free for all educators and now free for 2 hours for every student after school hours, after 4 p.m. If you have any questions or you have a different way that you use Epic and want to share it with us, please go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. And as always, like this video and please subscribe to my channel, Loving Little Learners. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.